As you know, 3 days ago, we officially defeated the worst president in the history of our country, crooked Joe Biden. So now we have a new victim to defeat, Lion Kamala Harris, Lion, L-Y-I-N apostrophe.
On the night that President Biden gave that historic speech, that was from the former president at his rally in Charlotte tonight. One person mentioned as a potential vice presidential candidate for the Democratic Party is Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. Governor, good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Great to be here.
I do want to talk about the president in just a moment, but I want to give you the opportunity to respond to those attacks tonight from Donald Trump, who is calling the vice president a radical left lunatic who will destroy our country.
Look, that's all they've got is name calling. You know, we're talking about a woman who's going to stand up for women's reproductive rights, who has had a long history of standing up for workers' rights and voting rights and civil rights. And Donald Trump, of course, believes in none of those things and is on the attack against just average, everyday working people across the United States. So I think the contrast is clear. They're going to throw invectives. We're going to talk about the issues.
Governor Pritzker, I know you listened to President Biden tonight from the Oval Office and know him well. It was a soaring speech where he talked about nothing can stand in the way of saving our democracy. That includes my personal ambition, and talked about the stakes in that race. What did you make of his remarks?
You know, I have to say, I listened to it, and there was a particular part of it where he talked about, you know, democracy being more important than one person. It's about the American people. And I can't imagine Donald Trump ever saying anything like that. Remember that Joe Biden has spent 50 years serving the public, not for his own interests, but to make sure that the working families of America have someone that they can rely upon in public office. That's been Joe Biden. He's a person of honesty and integrity, and we should all be proud that we've elected a president like this and look at all that he's accomplished. I know that earlier in your program you talked about, some of your guests talked about the allusion to FDR and all that he accomplished. Think about what Joe Biden did in just 3.5 years, getting bipartisan legislation passed, not just on gun safety and protecting a woman's right to choose, but think about the big issues like CHIPS and Science Act and the infrastructure bill, and, of course, the Inflation Reduction Act, and the way that he fought climate change and made sure that we're bringing manufacturing back to the United States. I mean, I'm proud of all that he's accomplished. We all should be, and we should want to elect somebody going forward who's a believer in those values and in carrying on not only the traditions of FDR, but the ones that have been established by Joe Biden, too.
He also had this turn of phrase where he said there's a time and place for long years of experience, but there's also a time and place for new voices, fresh voices, yes, younger voices, and that time and place is now. Has this decision united the party? How has it changed the party?
Well, part of it is that Joe Biden being willing to make this sacrifice of his own career and future because he believes in democracy. I'm so proud of that. And I must say that in Kamala Harris, we have the kind of person who's going to carry on a tradition of democratic values that most Americans really believe in. And she's somebody that's going to make sure that we take that case to the American public in a way that is so hard for the Republicans to respond to that you've seen all they've got is invectives to throw. So I'm very proud of what we're going to see going forward over the next, 100 days of this campaign. And I do believe that the prosecutor is going to be able to prosecute the case against the 34-time felon accused of and convicted of fraud.
And Governor Pritzker, it's been reported today that you spoke with Kamala Harris on the phone. You're on the list as a possible vice presidential candidate. Did you talk about being her running mate?
Look, I'm not going to talk about the private conversations that I've had. As you know, I've been traveling the country, making the case for Democrats all across these great United States. I'm going to continue to do that until Election Day and beyond. And I must say that again, Kamala Harris has energized the party. I think we're all excited about the opportunity going forward to make this case, to win back all the voters that, well, frankly, weren't so turned on by both candidates, but now see Kamala Harris as a real opportunity to carry this country forward.
Governor Pritzker of Illinois, good to see you, and we'll be in your state in August for the Democratic Convention.
It'll be a great summer in Chicago.
We'll see you soon. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.